So one of my biggest mentors in coaching is the great Tony Robbins. He's got this thing he says, talks about how most people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in a decade. I'm Coach Bobby Brown with Sober Life Right. What I do is I help people live their most amazing lives, free from drugs and alcohol. I do that through one-on-one coaching, hopefully through these videos. And we'll just see where God takes us on other ways that I might be able to hopefully make an impact in somebody's life. I'm going through the book, The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. This is a top 5 book for me. It is an absolute encyclopedia of habits, principles, basically the things that successful people seem to have in common. The people that do amazing things with their lives, that live amazing lives in all different types of ways. Success is a very personal thing. You've got to understand, you've got to figure out for yourself what that looks like. For me, I look at it in a lot of different areas of my life. Some areas of my life are super, super successful right now. Some areas have some huge areas of opportunity. And those are the ones that I spend a lot of my time working on specifically, or that I've put on hold for a little while I focus on other things. I do a little bit of both. I am an Amazon affiliate, which means that through a special link that I'm going to put in the description, if you purchase items that I recommend, I get a little small commission of it. I highly recommend the book. I've got my copy right here. Big thing, I just want you to read the book. This book alone, if you take nothing else from anything, if you've seen me, heard me, if you did nothing else but you just read this book and applied some of the stuff to your life would get better. I certainly hope that you apply a lot more, and I selfishly hope that you are looking for a coach and that you're the right person for me. So that'd be kind of cool too. But I'm gonna go through the chapter. Jack always breaks down some really good things about, he's good about weaving in stories. I am a man in long-term recovery. What that means for me is that today I get to live an amazing life, free from drugs and alcohol. It's been that way since July 22nd, 2021. So almost the last 4 years of my time in recovery. I've been in recovery for over a decade though. For me, recovery started the moment that I realized that, okay, maybe I should do something about my drinking. Slow down, not have blackouts anymore. For me, that started a journey that included jails, included treatment centers, it included homelessness, it included losing pretty much everything in life and then rebuilding it up to where I am today with just an amazing life. I wake up happy, I go to sleep happy, I get to help people. I have an amazing community around me. My relationships are solid. I don't have everything I want, but I've got everything I need. I had a sponsor tell me, he doesn't have everything he wants. They didn't make that much. That's probably true for most of us. So let's talk about how persistence is actively playing in my life. The idea to do this Sober Life Right came up about 5 years ago, and it started as me and a roommate in sober living. I was freshly out of a jail sponsored treatment center. I guess that's the best way. It's kind of the lowest level. It's like, all right, well, we can send you to prison, or you can go to this kind of lockdown treatment center for, in this case, it had been 5.5 months. So I spent that time really wisely, was doing a lot of reading. I got in great physical shape. I really was committed to turning my life around. That's when I first came across Jack's book. I got to read a lot of other just amazing books. So I'm filling my head with all this information. It's really just designed to help me to become a better person. And we decided we were going to do this garage talk. And I don't forget where the name Sober Life Right came up, but that's just what we came up with. And we went live on Facebook. And we did this 2 or 3 times. And we had, I think, maybe a sum total of a dozen friends that hopped on. I think most of them were his friends. He had been in recovery a lot longer than me. I didn't really know anybody yet. I was still rebuilding community. You know, part of the things that drugs take away from us is those people that are positive influences in our lives. So here I am. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm in Houston, Texas. First 30 days I'm in Houston, I relapse, and the only people I know and meet are people that are doing drugs. So I've got like all these people I know that none of them I can safely hang out with. So I'm having to build community like one person at a time. Got to grind through that process of trying to surround myself with the right people. But I'm doing it, you know. And so we just get on there and we talked about recovery. Fast forward maybe 2.5 years later, it's a little over 3 years ago. In that time, I've relapsed. I've gone back out. Things got even worse than before. Lost everything all momentum I had, everything that I built up again. And now I'm living in a sober living. I'm not working yet. I've decided to turn life over to God. I'm working real hard on my spiritual life. I'm working real hard on my recovery. I'm terrified by the last relapse. You know, that right before my last relapse, and I've done videos on this where I talked about like how quickly things can change in your life. Like, I talked about like a 90-second period, like what can happen in 90 seconds. And what that looked like for me was I'm 17 months sober. I'm doing all these recovery related things. I'm involved in service work. And I'm in a hotel room and I get, somebody puts some ecstasy in front of me, and like I go from, there's no way I would ever touch that stuff again in my life, to, that was never my drug of choice. What's the big deal? And I started a 9-month relapse that is part of my recovery story. Today I can look back and see how God was even guiding that. It really just reinforced my faith. I've had a dozen people that I met during that relapse that I have now, in one way or another, helped either directly to get into recovery, or been able to support in recovery, or, you know, because we know each other, I've been a role model that's done something for recovery. That's the ones I know of that we've talked to. You know, like there's no telling who might be watching my stuff, be like, what? That guy was thrown off and he's doing this. He's been clean for almost 4 years. Okay, there might be something to it. But then the idea came up that, okay, well, I don't want to go back to car repair. I ran car repair shops for 20 years. It's I can do it in my sleep. It's something that I have mastered the skills of running an independent car repair shop just through repetition and great mentorship and great leadership. But I didn't feel like I was doing what God put me here to do. And so I knew that I was supposed to use my message to help people directly, and specifically to help them with what I'd gotten through. That's recovering from drugs and alcohol. And so I started, I took the name Sober Life Right. I was like, okay, well, we're going to apply that to coaching. And then I learned about recovery coaching classes, and I went to certifications to that. I took some time off, and then I decided I needed to know about what it looked like to do recovery coaching. So I took a job with a nonprofit, and I've done that for the last 1.5 years. I've coached, I've gotten a chance to coach thousands of men and women in some form or another and make direct impacts on people's lives. I've been able to learn what coaching looks like. I've been able to learn how to coach, like what works, what doesn't. One thing about the nonprofit world that I think is not as strong as the for-profit world. The nonprofit world, when it came to coaching, there's not a lot of systems in place guiding coaches. There's something about having a customer paying the bill that's going to drive quality. You know, my business mentor taught me this a long time ago. We ran high-end car repair shops. I mean, we were higher than most dealerships. We were very, very service focused. You know, what kind of benefits could we have? We had the strongest warranty. We'd hire the best techs. We'd be open the longest hours. We put all these things in place, and we charge a premium price for it. But when you're charging the highest price, that creates a demand from your customers for quality. You have to deliver. In the nonprofit world, what I've seen with coaches is that they're often highly underpaid. The experience that they've got in recovery is undervalued. And like, we lose a lot of great coaches for this. I watch some of the best coaches I know are not coaching. They're doing business development, or they're seeking degrees to go be doctors and, therapists, like these positions that ethically they aren't supposed to use their lived experience for, because they can't make money using their lived experience that they have paid so dearly for. So many people in recovery, you pay for this experience with your freaking life. And so yeah, that's the route I went. And I've done this alone. Like, I don't have any financial backing. I didn't have much money in the bank. So that's been slower. I worked in business for a long time. I built businesses. I understand entrepreneurship. I understand systems. I understand how to put all that together. But doing this on my own has meant that I've had to slow things down so much. But I trust God's timing too. So I'll leave you with one little story that was that stuck with me and was an impact in my life, and it was from my mentor, Greg Sands. And something he told me a couple of different times this story. He got in the car repair industry, but at the time he chose to get in the car repair industry, he was a regional manager with TGI Fridays, and he was like a top performer there, and he was on the rise. So this opportunity to go work in this car repair shop comes up. And he talked to some people he trusted, but and everybody told him it was crazy. Like, why would you give up what you're doing? But he talked about how he talked to one mentor in particular, who told him, well, if it's not working, you can always give up tomorrow. And man, that lesson just stuck with me. I've been going at this for 30-something years. I haven't made a penny doing Sober Life Right yet today. I've got so many systems in place. I've got so much stuff, and I believe I'm helping people as it is. But like, that can be draining. And but I have it in me to do this one more day. I can get through today. And I can keep putting out content. I can keep trusting God and keep trusting the process and keep believing that, like, this is in my heart for a reason. It's not. As long as I keep that mentality, like, I can get real focused on how quick things are happening. Like, God doesn't work in my time. I have this idea on what should happen in a year. Hell, I have this idea on what should happen in 90 days right now. I'm doing this 90-day sprint lifestyle. Like, I want things fast. I want to see results fast. And I can forget that, what would this, if I just keep doing what I'm doing, what would this look like a decade from now? Could I make a change in, how big a scale could this make a change in people's lives? So, I don't know what you're working on, what you secretly are fighting at, trying to do, and you feel like giving up. But if it's something that you think you could use some help on, I want you to do a couple of things. So if you like these videos, first off, I want you to ring the bell. I want you to subscribe, please. If some of this touched you, please take time to comment. If you want the book, please use my Amazon affiliate, but go get the book anyway. But if you have thought about a coach, or maybe you haven't thought about a coach, but if you would like someone that is in your corner, that has systems in place to help you figure out where you want to be, what an amazing life looks like for you, the tools to help you get real honest about where you're at now, is able to help you draw out a roadmap and develop plans, somebody to help hold you accountable, set up a systematic way of checking in on a regular basis, someone that is living that lifestyle as well and can give you hope and maybe some inspiration, some encouragement, and somebody that cares about you enough to tell you the truth when you need to hear it, tell you where you're messing up, then please put coach in the comments and I'll reach out to you. So, thanks.